Jesus freak here. A lot of people talk about mental health as if it were a well understood science. And I feel like it's not. First of all, we have a problem with the lingo. People use the term bipolar disorder for two extremely different conditions. Someone will be in a situation where they're unable to properly regulate their mood, and they'll go from extreme highs to extreme lows. You know, we used to call manic depressive, and they call that bipolar. And then you have people that are normal 1 minute, and all of a sudden a switch flips and it's like a totally different personality takes over. And we still call it bipolar. And they got nothing in common. They're two completely different situations that have to be dealt with in completely different ways, but because we call them the same thing, people get confused. And then we have the issue of what they call, neurodivergence. We talk about autism, we talk about ADHD, and apparently we can't keep them straight because people with one all tend to get, diagnosed with the other all the time. They tried pumping me with ADHD drugs when I was a kid. Obviously, it didn't work because I don't have ADHD. The worst part of that is that one of those drugs, when they actually managed to get me taken, is half of the infamous combination we know now as fen-phen. And I think a lot of it is, people just don't want to say this word or that word. Whether it be they don't want to say that someone's a literal lunatic, or that someone's acting like they're possessed, or that they can't tell the difference between hyper and brain wired differently, or they can't seem to tell the difference between manic depressive or schizophrenic. And the abbreviations don't help either when they talk about, BPD, and you talk about bipolar or borderline. The more I live, the more I experience, the more I feel that mental health is still stuck somewhat in the past, in the days of, just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. We don't have the evidence-based. It's all guesswork a lot of the time. Now I'm talking about, stuff involving, drugs or whatever. If we're talking about things that can be dealt with through regular therapy, through counseling. That's a different matter. And there are indeed a lot of people who have situations they need to, talk to someone about it. That's a different matter. But a lot of this is, it's guesswork, it's shilling, there's a profit motive involved. Sometimes it feels like that guy from that one music video, that Ladeo guy, I just want kids to get high. The fact is, there's a lot we don't know, but we're acting like we know it all. The rate of mistakes, misdiagnoses, and such shows that we don't know it all. Not by a long shot. But no one wants to admit it's just guesswork. There's too much money involved. And also there's too much skepticism involved. Ironic as that may sound. Everyone's trying to prove that God doesn't exist, that the supernatural doesn't exist. Oh, there has to be some other explanation how this person suddenly he has a flip of the switch and all of a sudden they're a psycho. It couldn't possibly be that there's, demons in their head. Because demons don't exist. Just because we're in a modern skeptical world doesn't mean that the supernatural doesn't exist. We've managed to explain away a lot of what we thought was supernatural. But that doesn't mean there is no supernatural. Being open-minded doesn't mean only open-minded to certain things. If you block God from your mind, well, you're missing about half of reality. You cannot explain the supernatural using the natural. They operate on a different plane of existence. Jesus, freak out.